Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Maria Albina Michael and with me is Renu Kataria with the Midday News. The headlines. Over 10,50,000 beneficiaries received precautionary dose of COVID vaccine on the first day of rollout. Government says no COVID test required for contacts of confirmed cases unless identified as high risk. Delhi Disaster Management Authority orders closure of all private offices, restaurants and bars with immediate effect. Over 152 crore 89 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive in the country. Over 1,68,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Recovery rate stands at 96.36%. United States reports record 1.3 million coronavirus infections yesterday amid the spread of the highly contagious Omicron variant. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate virtually 11 new medical colleges and new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil in Tamil Nadu tomorrow. Also to inaugurate 25th National Youth Festival in Puducherry. Government procures over 532.86 lakh metric tons of paddy during ongoing Kharif marketing season. In badminton, the BWF 2022 Yonex Sunrise India Open Tournament to begin today in New Delhi. And in cricket, third and final test between India and South Africa underway at Cape Town. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated. As the new Omicron variant of coronavirus is causing concern, please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-239-78046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has said that over 10,50,000 beneficiaries have received a precautionary dose of COVID vaccine on the first day of rollout. The administration of precaution dose began across the country yesterday for healthcare and frontline workers and those over 60 years of age with comorbidities. Prioritization and sequencing of the precaution dose for the beneficiaries is based on the completion of 9 months from the date of administration of the second dose, which is 39 weeks. All citizens, irrespective of their income status, are being given free COVID-19 vaccination at government vaccination centers. All private offices in Delhi will be closed with immediate effect till further orders. In its revised order, Delhi Disaster Management Authority DDMA said the practice of work from home shall be followed. Those offices which are falling under the exempted category will be allowed to function. All restaurants and bars in the city will also be closed. However, takeaway of food items are allowed. Delhi has reported 19,166 new COVID-19 cases and 17 deaths yesterday.
Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR has said that contacts of COVID-19 patients do not require testing unless identified as high risk based on age or comorbidities. This was stated in an advisory issued by ICMR on purposeful testing strategy for COVID-19 in India. The advisory further states that testing is not required for asymptomatic individuals in community settings, patients who stand discharged as per home isolation guidelines, patients discharged from a COVID-19 facility, and individuals undertaking interstate domestic travel. ICMR said a person having cough, fever, sore throat, loss of taste or smell, breathlessness and other respiratory symptoms must be tested. It said individuals undertaking international travel and international travellers arriving at Indian airports, seaports and ports are to be tested. The advisory clearly states that no emergency procedure like surgeries and deliveries should be delayed for a lack of a test. It further states that patients should not be referred to other facilities for lack of a testing facility, and admitted patients may not be tested more than once a week. Over 156 crore 71 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. The vaccines have been given through the central government free of cost channel and direct state procurement category. The Health Ministry said over 17 crore 11 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and UTs.
Over 152 crore 89 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive in the country. Meanwhile, India's active COVID-19 caseload currently stands at over 8,21,000. The active cases stand at 2.29% and recovery rate is currently at 96.36%. Around 70,000 recoveries in the last 24 hours have increased the total recoveries to more than 3 crore 45 lakh. Over 1,68,000 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. A total of 4,461 cases of Omicron have been reported in the country so far. Out of the total Omicron cases, Maharashtra has reported 1,247 cases, followed by Rajasthan with 645, Delhi with 546 and Karnataka with 479 cases. Union Health Ministry said till now 1,711 people have recovered from the infection.
Arunachal Pradesh has witnessed a sharp rise in COVID-19 cases in only a week. The total number of active cases had jumped from 45 on Tuesday last to 352 till yesterday evening. A total of 132 fresh cases were reported yesterday from across the state. Meghalaya government is not going to impose a total lockdown despite the state recording an increasing number of COVID cases. Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangama informed the media that the government wants to ensure that the livelihoods of people are not affected by another round of lockdown, but if the situation goes beyond a certain point, then the administration will be forced to take a decision on imposing lockdown.
In Rajasthan, the new guidelines issued by the Home Department to contain COVID infection has come into force from today. Under this, markets, malls, cinema halls, auditoriums and religious places will be open only till 8 p.m. 50% seating capacity will be allowed in restaurants and clubs. More from our correspondent.
In urban areas, not more than 50 people will be allowed in marriages, functions and rallies, while in rural areas, their number will be 100. Schools and coaching up to class 12 standard will also remain closed till January 30 in the state. COVID infection has been spread in all 33 districts of the state. The number of active cases in Jaipur alone has crossed the 12,000 mark. Apart from Jaipur, there are more than 1,000 active cases in Jodhpur, Alwar and Udaipur districts. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Gujarat, the ruling BJP has set up medical task force in each district and metro cities of the state. The coordinator of Gujarat BJP Medical Cell, Dr. Dharmendra Gajjar, informed that the team of 50 to 60 specialist doctors have been included in this task force in each district. According to sources, BJP State President C.R. Patil will announce the helpline number today.
Tamil Nadu Health Minister M. Subramanian today distributed more than 1,000 pulse oximeters to people who are in home quarantine. Speaking to the media, he said that almost 85% of the COVID patients are affected by Omicron variant. He called upon private companies to contribute pulse oximeters to the government under CSR schemes. More from our Chennai correspondent.
The government today said that more than 21,000 COVID patients are home quarantined in clustered areas are being monitored. Methods of teleconsultation, virtual monitoring and pulse oximeters are being given to people under home quarantine and advice has been given to them on reading their oxygen levels. Patients whose oxygen levels are below 92% and are above 60 years of age are being hospitalized. 187 doctors and health volunteers are working in teleconsultation in Chennai alone. In a COVID-related development, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin took the precautionary dose at Kaveri Hospital today. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
Delhi government will start online special yoga classes for COVID-positive patients in home isolation from tomorrow. Addressing media, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said yoga will boost the immunity of the patients. He said the government will send a link today and classes will begin from tomorrow in 8 different batches. Legendary Indian singer Lata Mangeshkar has been admitted to a Mumbai hospital after testing COVID positive. She was rushed to the hospital this morning. According to reports, the 92-year-old singer has been diagnosed with post-COVID-19 induced pneumonia, following which she was rushed to the hospital. She is currently in the ICU and doing fine, according to Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar.
In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Piyush Ranjan of AIIMS New Delhi will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on telephone number 011-2342-1230 and 011-2342-1764. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and YouTube channel News on AIR Official. The United States broke the global record of daily COVID-19 cases. According to reports, it registered at least 1.3 million infections yesterday amid the spread of the highly contagious Omicron variant. The previous record was 1.03 million new infections on 3rd January this year. Despite the Omicron strain being reported as a less severe variant, the new variant of concern has driven the hospitalizations to an all-time high in the U.S. The number of hospitalized COVID-19 patients have doubled in 3 weeks, surpassing the record of 132,051 hospitalizations set in January last year.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Over 10,50,000 beneficiaries received precautionary dose of COVID vaccine on the first day of rollout. Government says no COVID test required for contacts of confirmed cases unless identified as high risk. Delhi Disaster Management Authority orders closure of all private offices, restaurants and bars with immediate effect. Over 152 crore 89 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive in the country. Over 1,68,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Recovery rate stands at 96.36%. United States reports a record 1.3 million coronavirus infections yesterday amid the spread of the highly contagious Omicron variant. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate virtually 11 new medical colleges and new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil in Tamil Nadu tomorrow, also to inaugurate 25th National Youth Festival in Puducherry. Government procures over 532.86 lakh metric tons of paddy during ongoing Kharif marketing season. In badminton, the BWF 2022 Yonex Sunrise India Open tournament to begin today in New Delhi, and in cricket, third and final test between India and South Africa underway at Cape Town. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 25th National Youth Festival tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Puducherry via video conferencing. The day, being the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekanand, is observed as National Youth Day. The festival aims to shape the minds of India's youth and transform them into a united force for nation building. It is one of the biggest exercises in social cohesion as well as intellectual and cultural integration. It aims to bring diverse cultures of India and integrate them into a unified thread of Ek Bharat, Shreshtha Bharat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate 11 new government medical colleges across Tamil Nadu and the new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil in Chennai tomorrow. The new medical colleges are being established at an estimated cost of about 4,000 crore rupees. Of this amount, around 2,145 crore rupees has been provided by the Union government and the rest by the Tamil Nadu government.
A quantity of over 532.86 lakh metric tons of paddy has been procured in the ongoing Kharif marketing season till now. The paddy procurement is progressing smoothly in the procuring states and UTs. So far, highest procurement has been reported in Punjab with over 1 crore 86 lakh MT. More than 64 lakh farmers have been benefited with MSP value of over 1 lakh 4,000 crore rupees till now. The BJP core committee meeting ahead of state assembly polls is underway at party headquarters in New Delhi. Home Minister Amit Shah, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, Deputy CM KP Maurya and others are taking part in the meeting.
The assembly polls for Uttar Pradesh for the first phase will be notified on the 14th of this month. Uttar Pradesh will go to the polls in 7 phases from the 10th of February to the 7th of March. Polling for Punjab, Uttarakhand and Goa will be held on the 14th of February in a single phase. Manipur will vote on the 27th of February and the 3rd of March in 2 phases. The counting of votes will be taken on the 10th of March. A total of 18 crore 34 lakh electors will take part in this election, out of which 8 crore 55 lakh are women. They also include 24 lakh 90,000 first-time electors registered in the 5 poll-bound states. In Manipur, women play an important role in every walk of life. The world's only market run exclusively by women is in the state known as Ima Market, Mother Market. The women folk of Manipur fought twice against colonial British in 1904 and 1939, which is known as Nupilal in our history. The general elections of Manipur Legislative Assembly is going to be held in 2 phases on the 27th of February and 3rd of March this year. Let's know how women of Manipur are going to take part in the forthcoming elections from our correspondent JJ Tokchom.
When it comes to politics, women of Manipur participate not less than their counterparts. Female voters outnumber the male voter by 64,520 as per the final electoral rolls published on 5th of this month. This time, the number of female contenders is expected to increase. Many are working hard behind the success of their men counterparts. In most of the election rallies, women folk participated more than men, which indicate that they are more keen in the forthcoming election. This is JJ Thoksom from Imphal for AIR News.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today remembered former Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri on his death anniversary. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said he was a man of great integrity and wisdom whose clarion call of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan continues to resonate in our collective consciousness. He said Lal Bahadur Shastri's exemplary leadership led to the all-round growth of the nation. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
ये जो स्वराज आया है उसे हम मजबूती से अपने पास रखेंगे ताकि कोई दूसरा हमारी तरफ टेढ़ी नजर भी उठाकर देखे तो हम उसका पूरी तरह से मुकाबला कर सकें।
In today's episode, we remember freedom fighter and second Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri, who died on the 11th of January, 1966. He was deeply influenced by Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi and Annie Besant, and joined the Indian independence movement in the 1920s under the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi. He led the country during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1965 and inspired the Indians with the slogans Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.
Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.
Lal Bahadur Shastri was born near Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. Dedicated to studies from childhood, Shastri walked many miles to his school in Varanasi without shoes, even when the streets burned in the summer heat. As he grew up, he was drawn towards the Indian independence movement. At the mere age of 11 years, he was greatly impressed by Mahatma Gandhi.
In January 1921, when Lal Bahadur was in the 10th standard and 3 months from writing the final examinations, he attended a public meeting in Banaras hosted by Gandhi and Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya. Inspired by the Mahatma's call for students to withdraw from government schools, Shastri withdrew from the school the next day and joined the non-cooperation movement. Later, he joined the Kashi Vidyapeeth in Varanasi. There, he came under the influence of the greatest intellectuals and nationalists of the country.
Shastri enrolled himself as a life member of the Lok Sevak Mandal founded by Lala Lajpat Rai and began to work for the betterment of the so-called lower castes under Mahatma Gandhi's direction at Muzaffarpur, Bihar. Lal Bahadur Shastri led many defiant campaigns during the civil disobedience movement and spent a total of 7 years in British jails.
When the Congress government was formed in 1946, this little dynamo of a man was called upon to play a constructive role in the governance of the country. He was appointed Parliamentary Secretary in his home state of Uttar Pradesh and soon rose to the position of Home Minister.
He moved to New Delhi in 1951 and held several portfolios in the Union Cabinet.
After the death of Jawaharlal Nehru, Shastri became Prime Minister of India on the 9th of June 1964.
हमारे सभी मतभेद एक राष्ट्र और एक देश की पृष्ठभूमि में हल होने चाहिए। आइए हम सब इसका प्रयास करें ताकि हमारे अंदर एकता हो, तो हमें ऐसे रास्ते निकालने होंगे जिनसे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मेल जोल और बातचीत कर समझौते और शांति के साधन खोजे जा सकें। संगठन और अनुशासन से ही राष्ट्र बलवान होते हैं।
Shastri's most serious test as Prime Minister was the 1965 Indo-Pak War, and he handled the Pakistani actions with tact, firmness and a quiet determination, securing the support of political leaders, bureaucracy as well as the armed forces. He addressed the nation after the end of the India-Pakistan War, reiterating that any more aggression from Pakistan will be met with appropriate retaliation.
आज सवेरे 3:30 बजे भारत और पाकिस्तान में लड़ाई बंद हो गई। पाकिस्तान ने हमारे देश में हमलावरों को 5 अगस्त को भेजकर ये लड़ाई शुरू की थी। अब ब्लैकआउट नहीं रहेगा, अंधेरा नहीं रखा जाएगा, लेकिन ये न समझिए कि पूरी शांति हो गई। हमें गंभीरता से विचार करना है कि इस समय क्या स्थिति है और आगे क्या हो सकती है। हम तो चाहते हैं और हमारी सदा ख्वाहिश रही है कि भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच शांति रहे, लेकिन हम असलियत की ओर से भी आंखें बंद नहीं कर सकते। मैं साफ कह देना चाहता हूं कि अगर पाकिस्तान जम्मू और कश्मीर राज्य पर, जो भारत का अटूट हिस्सा है, या हमारे किसी और इलाके पर फिर से हमला करता है, तो हम उसका पूरी ताकत और मजबूती से मुकाबला करेंगे।
Shastri died in Tashkent, Uzbekistan on the 11th of January 1966, one day after signing a peace treaty to end the 1965 Indo-Pakistan War. Lal Bahadur Shastri's success lay in his approach of taking decisions based on consensus after extensive discussions. We salute the great leader.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, Jago Grahak Jago.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. on 30th of this month. It will be the 85th episode of the monthly radio program. The Prime Minister has invited people to share their ideas on topics he should address in the coming episode of the program. People can share their views in the Namo app or MyGov Open Forum. They can also dial the toll-free number 1800-117800 and record their message for the Prime Minister in either Hindi or English. Phone lines will remain open till the 28th of this month. People can also give a missed call on 1922 and follow the link received in SMS to directly give their suggestions to the Prime Minister. Some of the recorded messages may become part of the broadcast. Odisha Election Commission today announced the dates for the ensuing Panchayat polls. Briefing media in capital Bhubaneswar today, the State Election Commissioner Aditya Prasad Padi said that the three-tier election will be held in 5 phases. While polling will take place on 16th, 18th, 20th, 22nd and 24th of February, counting of votes will take place on 26th, 27th and 28th of February.
In badminton, the BWF 2022 Yonex Sunrise India Open Tournament is beginning today in New Delhi with players like Kidambi Shrikant, PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and Sai Praneeth set to take on their respective opponents in the round 32 matches. Shrikant is the top seed in the men's singles, while Sai Praneeth and Lakshya Sen are the second and third seeds respectively. In the women's singles, Sindhu is seeded first with Saina seeded fourth. In cricket, India were 24 for no loss against South Africa in the third and final test at Cape Town when reports last came in. India won the toss and elected to bat. The visitors made 2 changes. Virat Kohli and pacer Umesh Shah are in the team, replacing injured Hanuma Bihari and Siraj.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have moderate fog. The minimum temperature was 7 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 19 degrees. In Mumbai, the minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 27 degrees. The city is expected to have mainly clear sky. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The city observed minimum temperature of 18 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 27 degrees. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Temperature will hover between -1 and 7 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 6 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 20 degrees. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Over 10,50,000 beneficiaries received precautionary dose of COVID vaccine on the first day of rollout. Government says no COVID test required for contacts of confirmed cases unless identified as high risk. Delhi Disaster Management Authority orders closure of all private offices, restaurants and bars with immediate effect. Over 152 crore 89 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive in the country. Over 1,68,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Recovery rate stands at 96.36%. United States reports record 1.3 million coronavirus infections yesterday amid the spread of the highly contagious Omicron variant. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate virtually 11 new medical colleges and new campus of Central Institute of Classical Tamil in Tamil Nadu tomorrow. Also to inaugurate the 25th National Youth Festival in Puducherry. Government procures 532.86 lakh metric tons of paddy during ongoing Kharif marketing season. And with that, we end the midday news.